Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Tuesday's request day. Today's map is the longest waiting creator request map on the list and from one of our younger creators. Inspired by J-Nobs, you'll see a lot of J-Nobs inspirational work here. And let's face it, J-Nobs, if you're going to be inspired by anybody, be inspired by them because they are inspirational. They have got a real eye for accuracy and detail, so good one to look up to there. It's a real life location. It's not a bad effort. It's definitely one for a modded play here, mind you. We'll get to that in a few moments. And of course, not only are they a young creator, but something else to remember is
it's my first map.
That's right. So we'll be extra kind in the comments today, please. I'm sure you'll find some constructive criticism in today's map to be able to pass on. But before we do any constructive criticism, I've got some constructive proactive for you. That's right, being constructively proactive is a really good way of supporting the channel, getting me seen by more people and helping me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Enumclaw. Yes, I've checked the pronunciation on this one. A one-to-one by Redo, or sometimes known as Drinking Water. They seem to change their name at random between the two. There's your start square. Got little bits of a network in place based on, again, the real life. Terrain heights is lots of buildable space. We've got a river running through it, but the river running through it doesn't hit the start square. We will see that later. We've got resources is trees. We've got a few trees, okay, or a little bit of fertile land, little patch. And if you've got Sunset Harbour, you want to do some fishing. It's not really a fishing map, but there is a river. There is a little one. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will be needing mass transit for this one. And a selection of required items on the right-hand side, which I have actually got all of them. I just need to refresh the screen there. Haven't refreshed the screen, so there's a missing tick. I don't bother normally reading the list of required items. I just eyeball for the ticks, and that has caused a slight problem with today's map. Slight problem, one that we're going to allow for at the end of the show. But yes, we'll be using today the vanilla temperate theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. That's what automatically loaded up with the map. But on closer inspection of that list of items, we're supposed to be using the Aguilvere theme, which Canya's amazing theme, and that would make this map pop a little bit more on the visual scale. So if you can imagine, I haven't got time to re-record, if you can imagine this map with the Aguilvere theme, that would be appreciated by not just myself, but by the creator, and I apologise to the creator for missing that. I'm sorry. I read the description, and there was no mention in the description about the theme, and I just eyeball checked that, and I just didn't see it tucked in there. So sorry. Anyway, so we got some custom roads, a real life location. I was going to mention about the real life location. We're in Washington State, USA. It's roughly midway, very roughly midway between Seattle, which I'm sure you've heard of, and in Yosemite Park. If you play Civilization 6, there's that natural wonder from the Yosemite Park. Yeah, that was it Liberty Cap, and I've forgotten the name of the other one, but yeah, it's like a split mountain thing. Roughly midway between that and Seattle is where we are today. Not the world's biggest city. I think it's about 12,000 population in my quick Google to find out what the heck it was, and also how the heck to pronounce it. Enumclaw is where I was going, but apparently it's Enumclaw. Although, if you ask Google how to pronounce it, I think Google tells you Enumclaw, so we'll just, yeah. I found two different pronunciations. In the end, Googled a YouTube video from what happens to be Enumclaw High School, and the coach was used, first thing I heard him say was Enumclaw. I thought, got it. Anyway, lots of buildable space there. Grid system, because it's America. Why would you not have a grid system when you have lots of available flat land? It makes all of the sense. Us Europeans grumble quite a bit about the ugliness of American layouts, but if you got a perfectly flat piece of land, why would you build anything but a grid? It's simple, really. There be. And so anyway, yes, highways. No real highways. We just got these national roads which cut across. Of course, that's down the realism. That's what we're going for. Again, inspired by J Knobs. And we've got an accurate layout and also accurate tree painting. It's following the exact lines of what we're looking for, and all credit for that as well. Now, Enumclaw, it turns out, hit the news about, what, 17, looking at 17 years ago, something like that. And that will be factoids, because factoids, if you've heard about Enumclaw in the news, we're going to cover that one in the factoids. Don't worry. I'm going to have to rephrase the article slightly, I feel, because again, it might be a bit too much for those of a gentle persuasion. And even if it's not a gentle persuasion, I imagine it probably a bit much, depending on how early in the day you're watching this one, to be able to handle the info. So let's say I'll tone it down slightly. Anyway, we have got an extensive highway layout. We've got also no rail today, which is because there's no rail. But we have got some power lines, so I'm going to follow those instead. Now, these obviously could be more centered in the clearing. I get that. Looks like it was done a little bit hurriedly, but not the world's issue. Not the world's biggest issue. Issue? Biggest issue. Easy for me to say. Anyway, so we've got a couple of stretches of lines. This one is just cutting across the corner of the map. We've got another one that'll go across the map that I'll show you where it joins in a moment. Oh, that's a bit of a dip. Okay, I'll show you where it goes across in a minute, and we'll have a glance at that in the second half of the show, but we're not going to follow it all the way. I don't really see that you're going to get an awful lot from following lines of power lines in terms of the map. But just doing one stretch is going to give you a little bit of an idea as to what you're looking at with the map in terms of standards. Bear in mind, of course, if you do like this creator's work, they are making themselves... Oh, hello, there's a bit of a gouge through the terrain there. They're making themselves available for commissions, so if you do like their work and you want a map similar to this one, give them a shout. Anyway, hitting the edge of the map now, which can mean only one thing. Oh, there's the junction. Time for an intermission.
Have you ever wondered why the traffic AI is so bad in this game? Why do all those cars all want to use the same lane? Then you need BonBonB's Guide to Traffic AI. Click the information button now.
And so back to the no shipping routes at Enumclaw 1-to-1, and quite right too, the river really isn't set for it, but we do have an air route. So the air routes they actually crisscross, which I guess is handy if you want airplanes coming from either direction. There's your crisscross, and then we can head off towards the edge of the map over this way. My voice is croaking. I'm back with you. Sorry about that. It's a live recording today, live from London, or nearish to London. so near, but so far. Certainly closer to London than I am to many major cities. We've got water flow. Yes, the river has some water flow, but as I mentioned at the start of the show, the river doesn't actually go anywhere near the start square. Start square's all the way over here. There's no water in the start square, so if you're playing vanilla, you're not going to like it. It's going to be very broken for you. We have a little divot down here, which we'll have a look at in the second half. Well, a bit later on. We're in the second half of the show now. I thought there might have been water in that. I thought that would have been the solution. Maybe water is the solution. Anyway, liking the overall feel of the map, liking the layout, even little things like this, very clearly to me, I've not checked, but that to me looks like a golf course. And if that's not a golf course, then that's bad work. If it's a golf course, it's excellent work. So you work it out. I didn't check that one out. I checked out a few things in Google Earth. I didn't check out that. But I'm liking the grid. The grid is good. I'm also liking the diagonal way that the grid also crosses across itself. So it makes just for a little bit of an interesting shape. So credit for that. And we've got, I'm going to say, tree painting is just some very interesting shapes. going to say that you can see this is very much drawn from an overlay, and they've done a good job of it. I would say credit for that. What more have I got to... do you know what? I've got plenty of stuff on this map to show you. Plenty of stuff. Let's zoom in to this. Now, this is a quarry. And I can't quite work out on Google Earth, this is the thing I was looking for, right? How the power lines stop here, and then they start on the other side of the quarry. I can't quite make out from the top down in Google Earth whether the power lines actually stop or not, or whether they're actually going across the sandy land. Now, it's quite sandy, the quarry, so it would appear in Google Earth, and so maybe some sand painting on the quarry might make it just pop a little bit more. Also, the power lines are then outlined on either side to showcase where they're off to. Now, this is the Green River. Now, the Green River has no water. It's way away from the 25 tiles, but it would have been nice to have had some water. The bridge, on the other hand, is absolutely well done. Do you know what? That, compared, again, looking at Google Earth, that is pretty realistic. It just has water in it underneath, you know? And some foliage. Can't have everything, though. Speaking of water, this is Sinkhole Lake, or it would be if it had a little bit of water in it. Over here we have got Beaver Lake, which again it would be if it had any water in it. And then a little that way down here we've got Base Lake, which has a base to the lake. Or it would do if it had some water in it. That is a little bit of... There's just a little bit of tidying up to the... Also, we've got some trees hanging onto the inside of the cliffs here. But yeah, if just a little bit of extra, you know, an extra 5-10 hours of just tidying up these maps would just make them pop a little bit more. Now, this is the main river, the river, and you can see we just got a little bit of bumpy water going on, just a wee bit of bumpy water. If we track back along the river, you'll see we've got a little gap here. There's a gap a bit further ahead as well. There's a gap there. This is ongoing, and I always let the water settle down. And when I find this, I always let the game run at speed for a moment, just to you have a watch it. I think the cause is that bend directly ahead of us, middle of the screen, directly ahead, and we're getting slushes. That's going to be ongoing for the lifetime of the map. So yes, there's a little bit of fixing to be done, but that I'll say that's caused by the long bend immediately before. And we have this hole. Now, I wasn't sure what that hole might be, so again I've returned to Google Earth Pro, no less. And if I take you down to that's this area here, this green land here. And if I come down here, you'll have a little look here. Obviously, there's no holes in this. A couple of nice looking houses, so maybe. But have a look at this. Before and afters. Look, we've got footpaths running through the... Shall we have a step down into the ground? New builds. Got new builds. Now, as a European, I'm looking at these houses going, nah, these are so bland, so beige. You think if you're going to do a new build, you're going to have, you know, take advantage to do something just a little bit more fun, a little bit more poppy, you know, something that'll fit in with the local area. So let's go and find some houses from the local area and see what the local area houses actually look like. So coming down this way, and keep going, keep pushing it, and that's what the houses look like. I mean, they are definitely fitting into the neighbourhood. I'm sorry, but they are bland buildings. So bland. Sorry if you live in one of those buildings, but they're bland. European speaking here. Just like houses that are like wonky and a bit creaky. Anyway, let's pull the camera back. Start Square, I feel, is the next job, which can only mean for one thing. We've got a classic, the most famous building in Enumclaw. It's Colombian office. It's not in Enumclaw, I promise you. 63 metres, number 2 by Robal. Now, Robal, with this asset, entered the Cities Skylines Top 20 Hall of Fame, my Saturday chart show. So, well done, Robal. And factoids, I promise you, factoids. The Enumclaw horse sex case was a series of incidents in 2005 involving Kenneth Pinion, James Michael Tate and another unidentified man. Pinion and Tate filmed and distributed zoophilic pornography of Pinion receiving attention from a stallion under the alias of Mr. Hands. After engaging in this attention on multiple occasions over an unknown span of time, Pinion received fatal internal injuries during one such incident. I don't know why I'm laughing. Oh, come on, this is not funny. So anyways, yes, the Enumclaw horse sex case. The Colombian Office 63 metre number 2 by Robal. By Robal is a great building. Don't know if it's as exciting as the Enumclaw horse sex case. Come on, Kenneth Pinion. Take it like a man. And sorry if any of the family or friends of Kenneth Pinion are watching this show. Anyway, your chance to vote on this map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. Link is also in the description. What do I think of today's map? Okay, so first of all, as it is at the moment, you know what, it's okay. It certainly looks like the area. I can't fault that, and so I'm going to go for a medium-high 3 stars. But then I remembered we're using the wrong theme, which will probably make it pop a little bit more. I don't think even with a wheel there, it'll be more than a low 4, but I'm going to push it up to low 4. Detailing. It's a fairly accurate representation of the area. There's a little bit more work here and there that should be done, but I'm going to go for just slightly above middle 3 on this one. And gameplay potential. My first instinct is it's a 1-star map. There's no water in the start square, but it is very clearly covered in the description. Very clearly covered in the description that this is for a heavily modded play, and because of that, I'm going to go for a high 3. Doesn't quite sell itself as a 4-star map, but I'm going to go for a high 3. Enumclaw 1-1 by Redo, or possibly drinking water depending on what day of the week it is inspired by J-Knobs. You can see the inspiration. It's a good person to be inspired by. It's a first map as well. I see they've got boys 1-1 out, and having just glanced at the workshop a moment ago, they've got another new map out as well. So hopefully their standards are improving and improving. We're going to have another J-Knobs on our hand. Oh, anyway, that's enough. I'll put my boots on and call it a day. But before I do that, your chance to use the word of the day in the comments. Score yourself some population points to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. See you tomorrow.